All right, now we want to talk to you about what I call the barista dance. You know, being behind a bar is kind of a dance. You got to make sure everything happens and your steps are perfect so that you have this complete product that is a piece of art at the end. So it's very important that you think through the process, what's done and when and how is it completed. Think about it kind of like your Thanksgiving dinner. You or your mom or somebody in your house has thought about Thanksgiving dinner, making sure everything gets in the oven at the time that it needs to get in the oven so it comes out at the same time. When your guests are ready to sit down at the table, everything is hot and fresh out of the oven. The same is true for a latte art drink. You want to make sure that you have everything ready in the proper timing and order so that it comes together to make the perfect hot drink with art on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through that process. We're going to go through each stage here in this overview video, and then we're going to make sure that we break this apart later in the curriculum so that you understand how each one of these pieces comes together. So let's start with the grind. Jake's going to be our beautiful model here.
Thank you.
And talk us through here what happens. You can notice that he's using this grinder to get his espresso beans, fresh beans, ground perfectly for the shot. Jake, talk to us a little bit about the grind.
The grind is critically important, and what you want to be using is a conical burr grinder. What this does is this actually shaves the beans and it gets to the richest areas of the bean where the oils are being hidden and preserved, rather than whacking the bean and essentially fracturing it. So that's really important to have a conical burr grinder, and it has to be set just to the right grind for the coffee that you have in the hopper. And then you also want to grind just according to the dose that you have, because remember, coffee in bean form has a 20-day shelf life. As grinds, it only has a 20-minute shelf life, and then as it comes out as an espresso, it only has a 20-second shelf life. So it's very important that you only grind what you need for the drink that you are making, or just a little bit over. Now, there are some grinders that actually do the dosing for you, but in this case, what I do is I tend to overfill the basket just a little bit to make sure that it's full, and then I scrape off the top. Now, this should get me that perfect 14 to 16 grams of ground coffee in the basket before I do the tamping.
You can notice he's using his finger to make sure that he gets off the grinds around the flange, and then he's tamping. When he uses his tamper, he holds it like a sword or a doorknob, making sure that he's pushing with the full stretch of his arm down onto the portafilter. He has what we call a naked portafilter, so the bottom has been cut off so you can get all the most crema out of this as possible. And then when he's tamping, he's getting down to the international standard line that's marked there in the basket, and most espresso machines or baskets have that line in it. So now he's ready to pull his shot, but he's not going to put it in the portafilter just yet. Why?
Because the milk's not ready.
Because the milk's not ready, exactly. We want to make sure that we have the milk poured and to the right amount that we need for our drink. Does that look good?
That looks perfect.
Okay, so the milk is now poured. Now it's key that the milk is already there. You don't want to start your shot, oh shoot, I forgot to get my milk, and go over here and get it. You want to have everything come together at the same time.
Right, absolutely, because as soon as you put this portafilter up into the group head, it's going to start cooking those grinds again. And so you don't want to start burning or charring your coffee. You want to start the brewing process almost immediately once you put it up into the group head. So I'm going to go do that now.
So his milk is ready. He puts the portafilter in the group head. And notice that he puts the cup underneath the portafilter because we want to make sure that we get as much crema into the cup as possible. So we're not using a transport cup, but we're actually using the cup itself to get all the crema in there. The crema is the canvas, and we teach that to you in another lesson. And you can notice he's tilting the pitcher, he's using his hand to gauge the temperature, he's making sure there's a nice roll in the milk to get the microfoam bubbles that he needs. Just at the same time that the milk is done, the shot is close to done. And now he's gonna pull it all together with the shot and the milk.
And I want to make sure that the milk foam looks a lot like melted ice cream. It should have that texture, and I want no large bubbles, so I'm going to knock it on the counter to make sure that any of those large bubbles pop. And I'm constantly circulating my milk to keep it fresh and to keep that milk foam wet.
And real glossy. You notice the pour, he hits down, he's tilting the cup, and then he pours through the latte art. That, my friends, is the barista dance, and that is how you be a Latte Art Pro.